As 2019 comes to a close, I kind of wanted to reflect on some of the things that we've done over the last year and take a look at some of my top picks for kitchen gadgets. Now, I know there's a lot of ways that you can pick a list of your top kitchen gadgets for a year, but what I did was I took a look at those things that I use on a regular basis. They're things that I've just came across in the last year or have come to my attention and become an integral part of our everyday use. And I think the list that I came up with is products that really have changed some of the things that I do in the kitchen, and they really have become a part of my cooking. So to celebrate the end of 2019, we're going to talk about my top 10 kitchen gadgets for the year, and we are going to pick my gadget of the year for 2019. So join me. Let's do this. So looking back at this time last year, we were doing something very special. We were opening a silver play button. And at the end of this year, we have now reached not only 100,000 subscribers, but we've reached 150,000. And I just think about that, and I think about the year of 2019, and we were able to do a lot of amazing things. I learned so much. I got the opportunity to play with a lot of fun gadgets. And now that I'm looking back at the end of the year, I'm sort of trying to figure out what are the best things that I used this year. And I didn't want to come up with a list of my favorite kitchen gadgets because I really wanted it to be a reflection of what I used in the kitchen this year, what came to my attention, and what I really, really liked using. So there are 10 things, aside from all the other things that I love, that really came to my attention this year, and I wanted to give them their props, right? So we're gonna go through those 10 things, and we're also gonna pick my gadget of the year. So, number 10, here we go. So number 10 on my top 10 gadgets for 2019 is the KitchenAid stand mixer 3-quart bowl and combi whip. So I got one of these a couple years ago, and what's great about this is on larger stand mixers, you can use this smaller bowl to whip smaller items, particularly a small amount of whipped cream or a small amount of egg whites. Because everybody I hear all the time, and I have this same kind of experience, if you're just whipping like 2 egg whites, a lot of times the whip doesn't reach the bottom of the bowl. And this works with 5 and 6 quart mixers. You have to check your model number to make sure it will work. But this one here is for the KP25, KP26, which I think is a 5 and 6 quart stand mixer bowls. It has 2 holes here on each side, which I think one's for the 5 and one's for the 6. It also comes with a stainless steel whip, and it's fantastic. I use this all the time. A lot of times when I just want to make some waffles and I'm whipping up a couple egg whites, I pull this out because it works just as good as a hand mixer. And I have a lot of trouble only doing a very small amount. It only comes with a whip, so it's not like, you know, you're gonna make a thick cookie dough in this. But it's great for really small amounts. And I use this all the time. This came into my world about 2 years ago, and it wasn't really until the beginning of 2019 that I really started using it, and I really love it. So I wish I would have used it prior to that. But for 2019, this definitely wins my spot for number 10 on my gadgets of the year. So number 9 on my top gadgets for 2019 is my OXO Smooth Edge can opener. I love this thing. I've actually been using this for a couple years and I don't really talk about it and I don't really give it its props. And since it's such a big part of my kitchen, I think I need to put it on this year's top list. So what's great about this is it cuts on the edge of the can, and when you remove the lid, it's smooth around the edge and not, doesn't have, places where it can cut you. So I've been using this for so long. I just really think that this is one of my top items in the kitchen. It's kind of a little expensive for a can opener. It's about $21, but I have been using this for so long and I love this thing. And I wanted to put it on my list this year for 2019 because I use it so much. So number 9 on my top gadgets for 2019 is the OXO Smooth Edge can opener. Number 8 on my top gadgets for 2019 is the Cruz Heritage 13x9 baker. I love this thing. I bring this out almost every time that I cook. I'm making a casserole, I'm roasting some chicken, I'm doing some potatoes. One of the great things about this baker is it has a lid. A lot of times when you use 13x9 bakers, there's no lid, so you got to cover it with foil. You're doing all that stuff when you bake it. But this one, it has a lid, and this thing has been a workhorse for me. I bring it out all the time. I haven't had any issues of cracking, which can be an issue with stoneware. And I have not had that with any of the Le Creuset products. I love this thing. It's in the classic flame color. In this right here, there's going to be a Le Creuset piece of something from them on this list. And this is one of my absolute favorites. It's a little expensive. You might pay like $100 for this, but this piece will be a workhorse in your kitchen and it will be one of your favorite. And it will match back with whatever color Dutch ovens you have or other pieces of cast iron from them. So I absolutely love this. Number 8 gadget of the year for 2019 is the Le Creuset Heritage 13x9 covered baker. So number 7 on my list of gadgets of the year for 2017 is my Chef Choice 3-stage knife sharpener. Now I know the knife enthusiasts are going to be like, what? She uses an electric knife sharpener? But I only use this knife sharpener on my beater knives. So my Victorinoxes, my Mercers, my no-name knives that I just pull out and, go at it with whatever I'm chopping. I do not run my more expensive knives, my Wusthoffs, my even more expensive than that. I sharpen those on a stone. But for quick jobs where I want to sharpen this sucker and run, it does a great job for me. I know the purist out there will be like, she can't have that, right? But I think for someone who isn't into sharpening and isn't interested in learning to sharp because they're, a home cook, an occasional cook, and they don't want to get that much involved with sharpening a knives, this does a great job, particularly on beater knives. I love this thing. I've had this for several years, and it seems like in 2019, whenever I have a beater knife where I just want to run that sucker through there and rinse it off, this is what I turn to. And it's great. So number 7 on my top gadgets for 2019 is the Chef Choice 3-stage electric knife sharpener. Number 6 on my top gadgets for 2019 is my Zojirushi Nero fuzzy rice cooker. I have been cooking with this rice cooker for more than 15 years, and it still works as well as it did on the day that I took it out of the box. So you ask, how is this my favorite gadget for 2019? It's not a gadget that's new to me. It's not a gadget that I just came across in 2019, but I can tell you over the course of 2019, I have made more rice in this rice cooker than any other cooker that I own. And I have a lot of them, right? This thing performed for me across this year, time and time again. When I make rice in this, it comes out fantastic. And this is what I turn to mainly when I'm cooking rice, particularly on the weekends. You just throw it in there and boom, it's done, right? This is an expensive cooker, but let me tell you, I've been cooking on this thing for years and it's worth every single dollar that you will pay for it. So number 6 on my top gadgets for 2019 is the Zojirushi Nero Fuzzy Rice Cooker. I guarantee that every list that I have of gadgets of the year will have some kind of stand mixer in it. And this year for 2019, my number 5 gadget of the year is the Wolf stand mixer. Now I know if you've watched, this mixer just came into my world in the last month or so, and we just did a product test and review of it. But it works so well, and I have reached for this mixer 4, 5, 6 times since then. And I'm starting to really like it. So in terms of the gadgets that surprised me for 2019, I'm giving that to the Wolf. I was very surprised on how well it worked. I am really liking this mixer. So number 5 on my top gadgets for 2019 is the Wolf stand mixer. So my number 4 gadget for 2019 is the Sabol Brothers Western style Santoku knife. This knife is handmade by the Sabol Brothers and it is absolutely fantastic. We did a full test and review of these knives and I've been using this knife and I love it. It fits perfectly in my hand. Look at the shape of this knife. It's like a Santoku, but it's sort of like a chef's knife, but it has this short handle that's great for someone who likes a light, nimble knife that is just, it's like an extension to my hand. So this is an N690 steel on this. This knife is fantastic. It is expensive, but this knife is handmade by a small business. And I love supporting small business. And they're doing it right because this knife is fantastic. So number 4 on my list of the best gadgets of 2019 is the Sabol Brothers Western style Santoku. So my number 3 gadget of the year is sheet pans from USA Pan. Now you guys know that we took a trip up to Pennsylvania to the USA Pan factory sale. And I can tell you that anything that we bought at that sale, including the cookware, could be at the top of this list. These pans are fantastic. I'm going to put links down in the descriptions to all this stuff. But if you are looking for a sheet pan, the ones that I can recommend are any sheet pans made by USA Pan. So this is a USA Pan branded sheet pan. It's your classic silver kind of color. It does have a little bit of silicone spray on there, so it's nice and non-stick. This is a Williams-Sonoma Gold Touch. You can get these at obviously Williams-Sonoma. These are the top of the line, but these I would say are just about as good. I would say that there's not much difference between the two. Yeah, these are fantastic. And I can tell you in 2019, I use these sheet pans for everything. I put parchment paper on here and I roast vegetables, chicken. I mean, these are indispensable for your kitchen and you need some really high quality ones. And these are that. So my number 3 pick for gadgets of 2019 is the USA Pan sheet pans.
Shocking.
So my number 2 gadget for 2019 is the Bosch compact mixer. Now I know you're looking at this and you're like, that is a stand mixer? And I got this last year and I really just started using it this year and it has really surprised me because this stand mixer is in a compact platform, and you can grab this out of the cabinet and make a basic cookie, a batter, and a bread, and it works fantastic. No, you're not going to make multiple batches in this thing or big batches of bread dough, but for single batches and for cookies and for all your basic mixing jobs, it is great, and it is very light. Whoops, I have this thing turned on. And it is really interesting because it has a really different motion than a lot of stand mixers. I had it on there for a minute. It moves around the bowl sort of like this. So it is planetary, but it's like a wave, right? And it has suction cups. It is rock solid. And it also has a lot of attachments that go with it. And the attachments go here on this hub as well as on the hub above. This swings down and there's a hub here. So you have food processors and all kinds of attachments that you have for a lot of mixers that work with this little baby. I love this little mixer. I think it's great if you want something really small, and it really surprised me in 2019. So I'm giving this number 2 on my list this year.
And it doesn't really make any funky motor noises like certain mixers do.
Yeah, no funky motor noises. It's nice and smooth. It's a great little mixer if you want something for basic jobs. Yep, so this is number 2 on my list. So now we're headed to my gadget of the year for 2019. So cooks, my 2019 gadget of the year is the Cosori air fryer. You're gonna say an air fryer is a gadget of the year? The reason I picked the Cosori air fryer is air fryers have revolutionized the quick cook. We can throw stuff in an air fryer and it cooks it evenly and quickly. And air fryers have changed the way we do quick meals. And I'm going to tell you, in the class of air fryers, the Cosori is the absolute best. I have used a ton of different air fryers, and I constantly go back to the Cosori. Its nice basket is really large for cooking decent amount of food. It works really great. The controls are fantastic, and it does an absolute fantastic job. So, how do I feel about a gadget who comes into my kitchen and I use all the time, does a great job every time I use it, and it is one of my favorite pieces of equipment in the kitchen? You give it gadget of the year, right? And that's what I am doing this year. I feel that this has been one of those game changers in my kitchen this year. I have used it so much, and anybody who gets one of these Cosori air fryers will be happy with it. And that goes along with all the reviews of the air fryer, as well as, you know, what I hear from other people that have used it. I think it's a great product, and I think it's a great addition to any kitchen. So my 2019 gadget of the year is the Cosori air fryer. So cooks, I am going to be going live on New Year's Eve. So join me. We're going to be live on YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on New Year's Eve. We're going to be doing a taste test of some cheap wine as well as cheap champagne. We're going to be celebrating the closing of 2019 and the beginning of the new year. I'm looking so forward to 2020. We're entering a new decade, and this is the time to learn to cook, right? So that's what we're going to do in 2020. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting me this year. And thank you for loving gadgets like I do, because they really enrich my life, and I hope these gadgets enrich yours as well. So join me on New Year's Eve. We're going live, right? So my kitchen gadget of the year is the Cosori air fryer. Links will be down in the description to all these gadgets that we've talked about today. I hope you have a great New Year's, and catch me on social media at facebook.com/groups/Amy Learns to Cook. You can also catch me on Pinterest and Twitter at Amy Learns to Cook, as well as Instagram at Cookin' with Amy. Our winner this year is the Cosori.
And my 2019 gadget of the year is a DeWalt reciprocating saw. It's fun around the house, auto, yard, remodeling, ripping things apart. It works great, doesn't make much noise, and it's highly effective. I voted numero uno for my gadget of the year.